Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at Heeljin's Crystal Paladin. This is one of the more interesting and off-the-wall decks we've seen in quite a while. It's an even Paladin, so we play again grey main here, makes a hero power cost 1, so we're going to be able to fill the board with silver hand recruits pretty regularly. But what this deck kind of revolves around, as Heeljin mentions in their write-up over on Hearthstone, link in the description as always, is that the deck's focused around Drygulch Jailer and Crystology, and a lot of these hand buff cards. So because we have 2 Drygulch Jailers, 2 Crystologies, we're incredibly likely to have one of these cards in our opening hand. We can use that to the Crystology to get the Jailer. And we want to play this early, have it die, kind of these old school even Paladin strategies where you get the Drygulch Jailer dead, have a massive hand of cards, a huge chunky one, and then we want to play Mountain Giants for very cheap, or we want to play our Twilight Drakes with huge health. So that's pretty interesting. The other thing we've got in here is Crystal Smith Kangor, which is another 1 attack minion that we can get with Crystology. And they've actually included a set of Holy Lights in here to go with that. I was initially pretty blown away that there was a Holy Light in a deck. I haven't seen that in a very long time, since some very bad arena decks. So this was really interesting, but I can see in a very aggressive meta and in a deck where you can very consistently find Crystal Smith Kangor that a 2-mana heal 12 could be pretty useful. The other thing that Kangor gives us is gives our Corpse Takers lifesteal. Obviously it's the only card in the deck with the lifesteal. There are plenty of Taunt and Divine Shield minions in here, but just having that little bit of extra flexibility is pretty good, but we're going to pull it out of the deck pretty often, so it's not something we can rely on. Other than that, we've got a lot of other support for these silver hand recruits that are going to be going into our hand quite a lot, and also the silver hand recruits that we're going to be playing on board with our hero power, and that's we've got Crystal Lion. So and we've also got Sea Giant in here. This is the first deck I've seen with Mountain Giant and Sea Giant that hasn't been also had Naga Sea Witch in it. But I imagine what the game plan here is that we're going to try and use our hand buff cards early on when we do have a chunky hand, and then we're going to try and vomit it all onto the field and play a lot of our field buff cards like those. Not necessarily field buff cards, but cards that care about us having minions on the field. So Sea Giant, Sunkeeper Tarim, Crystal Lion, these kinds of cards. The only change that I've made to the deck is Heeljin did have 2 Mossy Horrors in the deck. I'm not too keen on the second Mossy Horror, and I really wanted to include another card to help make these Corpse Takers a bit better, because we are fishing our Kangors out, and sometimes, you know, a 4-mana 3/3 Divine Shield Taunt, it's not the greatest. So I've included a 1-of Wind Fury Harpy in here to, you know, go with the curve and just help these Corpse Takers get a bit better. But we will keep an eye on that, if that's worth it, or if we really wanted a second Mossy Horror whenever we draw this Wind Fury Harpy, would it be better as one of those? Anyway, without further ado, we'll jump into the deck, jump into some games rather, and see if we can get some wins. Alright, up against a rogue.
None can escape my fury.
I will fight with honor.
And we are on the play. So we'll send all this back, so we want to find our hand buff cards or our Crystology. Unfortunately, we did not.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
The other interesting omission from this deck is Wild Pyromancer. So we've got a quality Consecrate, but no quality Pyro.
The battle.
Job done. So both Jailers. So next turn we'll have 7 in hand. 6. Okay, so we can Drygulch Jailer next turn. And not worry about burning the card, I think.
No more take.
And then this Jailer will die, either by us trading in or getting killed. And we can play our Mountain Giant next turn. See if our opponent has the Coin Vial Spine.
The end is coming!
The end is coming! Oh my gosh. Ray with the big raid. You've joined us at a very interesting time. We're playing our first game of Crystal Paladin. Comes to us from Heeljin over on Hearthstone. It's kind of like an even Paladin redux. Got some interesting crystal interactions. In our first matchup, we're up against a rogue. So, looking for Coin Vilespine here. It's pretty bad, but this is a deck that has both Mountain Giant and Sea Giant, and does not contain Naga Sea Witch. So it's trying to do a lot of interesting stuff. So this is going to be fully online. So let's go for it. I only made one change to the deck. That was cutting the second Mossy Horror for a Wind Fury Harpy to make these Corpse Takers a little bit better. How was your stream, Ray? What were you playing? Giants. Oh, a wild man like you would be far too excited for these giants. Alright, let's get our true sword. So yeah, the other part of the deck is it's got a package of one attack minions and Crystology. So we've got two Dry Gulch Jailers and Crystal Smith Kangol. And we can fish those out with Crystology. So we can really consistently get these Dry Gulch Jailers, get them dead, and play those cheap Mountain Giants. It was good, went from 3-1 to 8-1 in arena. 5 wins on your lunch break. Nice. Gotta go back to work. No worries, Ray. Have a good one. Hope good to hear that you had a great stream. And welcome everyone from Ray's stream.
For justice.
Alright. So let's
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
get our hand down a little bit.
Take candles.
I think I'm actually going to
Shields up.
something protector as well. Just to make sure that if they do have a fan of knives. See you in a few weeks, of course. We'll see you at GP Melbourne. I'll try and stop by for a stream or two before then, of course.
Engaging TC-130. Mental dislocator.
That took our Dry Gulch. Whew. Okay. What can we do here? Can we do something with Tarim? Like trade, hero power, Silverhand recruit Tarim.
Let me think.
I mean, if they vanish, it kind of sucks, but
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty. Ungoro belongs to the Titan. The battle! The battle!
we'll make sure we trade off then. We don't want to give them any more MC tech value if they do vanish. They still have that Vilespine in hand as well.
Was a man from Gilneas.
That they shadow stepped. Wow.
The battle!
So this is the
battle!
evasion? Okay. Do we just hero power? I think we want to bait out the Vilespine with this Sea Giant.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Job's done.
See what happens. We could try and bait it out with the Tyrion, because then we get the weapon. We can, you know, opponent's on 20, giving us 15 attack worth of weapon. It's pretty juicy. I think the main thing is we just really fear the vanish. Oh, there's a Vilespine. There's both Vilespines, so I would say that our Tyrions and Lich Kings are looking pretty good here. Fortunately, can't deploy the Crystal Lion as well. I think we'll just go for the...
I wonder.
We'll go for the Tyrion here.
Reporting for duty. Put your faith in the light.
I got this.
The battle. The battle. The battle.
We'll just push face. We could have maybe traded off, like killed this Flame Elemental, but I don't know. Even like Fungal Mancer still gets 2 buffs. They're digging here. Really digging. But this is a lot to have to deal with. And the follow-up with the Lich King is interesting. I think that's one of the parts of the deck that I was... It like sounded too good to be true. Betrayal. Is that it seemed like the deck was doing a lot of what even Warlock tries to be, except even Warlock's mostly a mid-range deck with a couple of finishes, whereas this is like a mid-range deck with some legitimate lane power.
I got this.
For justice.
And oftentimes that is too good to be true. Like, you can't just be all things. You can't be aggro mid-range and control. So, well, we gotta win. See how we go in there. Okay, up against the same rogue. So let's see if our opponent's a bit more clued in this time. They know that we have a lot of high value targets, especially for those Vilespines.
Our curse into our strength.
And this is a significantly weaker hand.
Reporting for duty.
Potentially leaning on like a coin corpse taker.
Duty.
With this Mountain Giant though, right on time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No more take candles.
I think I'm okay burning a card.
Reporting for duty.
Because having this coin for the Tyrion's pretty good. No, we can't. You just have too much power in the deck. I mean, best case scenario, we burn a like a Christology, because we only need one Christology with the 2 1-attack minions in there. Go Mountain Giant, see if they have a Vile Spine, like trade Shadow Step Vile Spine. It's pretty good. We can follow up with a Corpse Taker Hero Power. And we can set ourselves up for a turn where we play all these Silverhand recruits and play the Sea Giant and the Crystal Lion.
There once was a man from Gilneas.
Oh my gosh, eye for an eye.
Winter is here.
Eye for an eye was pretty good, but I think we're happy to get our opponent down a bit lower. Especially with this Corpse Taker, with the True Silver Champion. This Hallucination Vile Spine. But which do you take out? Do you take out the Corpse Taker or the Mountain Giant? Prep. Prep Steed. Nice. And the dagger. Okay, well we heal for 6 here. Not 100% on that turn with the Consecrate. I mean, it does kill off the Minstrel, which is like a reasonable piece that they can use to trade in. I imagine this Mountain Giant's probably eating an Eviscerate this turn, but look, the next couple of turns are looking pretty good for us. We do have another Jailer as well, so we can potentially reset our oh, Academic Espionage.
Welcome
Ooh,
to my
lots of spiders. Alright, so I think the tempo play here is to go for like... We could go Mossy Horror face. I think I like that. Yeah, puts our opponent dead to our True Silver Champion. Makes it very hard for them to get value off a dagger. They still have to kill our board as well.
Come, try your luck.
That's a lot of spiders. But I don't know if spiders can save you now, friend. Okay. Definitely get them with the Holy Light Beard.
For justice.
You know, who plays that card, right? Got him. 2 in a row. So even though our opponent knew a bit more about what was up, they couldn't do anything about it. So, another game. Another good game.
We'll fight with honor.
Alright. Up against another Paladin. So do we want to keep Crystal Lion here? What does Heeljin say about keeping Crystal Lion? No, we want hand payoff cards. No dice there, but you know, we've got Crystology. We can potentially pick up our Kangor, which does make our Corpse Taker worse, but will make our Holy Light pretty useful if this game does get grindy. The lack of Pyromancer in this deck could make things a bit tough. Against Odd Paladin specifically.
Reporting for duty.
This Sea Giant's probably going to come down pretty early though.
Reporting for duty.
Hopefully we can rip a Consecrate in short order. Well, okay. Do we do it now, or do we let them commit more? I don't think we can let them commit more, right? Maybe we can. We can potentially get like the Sea Giant off as well. We can play the Corpse Taker now. Run into a Ironbeak Owl. We'll go for the Corpse Taker.
Winter is here.
See what happens. Because they can't level up. What we would really be scared of is a Maul on Divine Shield. Okay, that's not so bad. And they traded off the Mecharoo as well, so definitely telegraphing a level up here. Which we will be happy to shut down. Creep is a great follow-up. Mechano Egg. Mechano Egg. That's pretty scary. So we have 8 in hand.
I wonder. No more take candles.
Reporting for duty.
So we could have gone for the Mountain Giant there, but if this Dry Gulch Jailer goes off, then we can potentially deploy the Mountain Giant and something else in a turn. You know, we could look to like a quality Mountain Giant. Especially in this kind of board.
Hello?
So this Mechano Egg may mean that we're looking at a deck that plays like War Gears and things like that. So we want to be very conservative with this equality.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Lock him up.
The battle.
That was pretty good. I think that's... If the user-defined win condition of this deck was to play a Mountain Giant and a Sea Giant in the same turn, I think we have we've definitely achieved that. I think that's an interesting. I don't think I've seen that before in Hearthstone, other than involving a Naga Sea Witch, of course. But
Out of my jungle!
now, unfortunately, by doing this, we've kind of blocked our own equality. So that is something we need to keep an eye on. But our opponent's giving us something cool to equality.
Reporting for duty.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna get eviscerated by one of these level ups at some point.
I wonder. For justice.
We won't break the egg just yet.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Do we die if they hit Tarim off that stone hill? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20. We do exactly die if it was Tarim.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, this is a big level up. Okay. How do we want to do this? I think we definitely need to play Tarim this turn.
Ungoro belongs to the Titan. To battle! To battle! To battle!
Do we just go face to heal?
For justice.
I'm gonna take out the mech.
Candles.
So what are we dead to here? Leroy? Yeah, we're dead to Leroy.
Out of my jungle!
Blessing of... No. Blessing of Might? No, Blessing of Might doesn't get us.
Ungoro belongs to the Titan.
The Tarim doesn't get us either. Puts us on 1. Could Equality Consecrate. And we're still dead to everything that killed us before. Or we could Tyrion.
I wonder.
What's the safest route? I think if we Equality Consecrate, we have a high chance of winning. Because we can crash in for more damage. But I think getting the Tyrion out might be the safer play. But let's go for the win.
Move quickly.
Reporting for duty.
So still dead to Leroy. Though, maybe if this is like playing Robozors and potentially other mech things, maybe it doesn't have... doesn't have Leroy. Flying Cleaver. Yeah. That's fair.
That was a mistake.
Reporting for duty.
So instead, if we had gone for the line where we just traded our entire board for our opponent's board and played Tyrion, we wouldn't have died to the top deck Vine Cleaver, but then we would have also been facing down, I guess, a longer game that we would have been favoured in. So, you know what, maybe that was a pretty touch and go, I think. But let me know what you think in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. What would you have done there? Would you have gone for the Equality Consecrate, tried to push in, put your opponent on a, you know, potentially 2-turn clock? Or would you have gone for the, you know, trade your entire board in, sit behind Tyrion, and hope that it gets you there? Let me know. Okay, we're here with Heeljin's Crystal Paladin deck. We just played a couple of games with it, and ultimately I'm pretty impressed. I had, you know, I will admit that I didn't exactly have high hopes for the Holy Light deck, but we did a bunch of stuff. We did the, you know, Dry Gulch Jailer Mountain Giant shenanigans. We pulled that off pretty consistently. We even got to play Sea Giant and Mountain Giant in the same turn, which I think is phenomenal. These Corpse Takers proved pretty valuable, and I'm actually pretty happy with my choice of cutting the Mossy Horror to put a Wind Fury Harpy in. I don't think there were many games where, you know, we drew the Wind Fury Harpy and we would have been, you know, so far ahead if we had another Mossy Horror. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. A lot of the hand buff cards makes sense. A lot of the field like Crystal Lion, Sea Giant cards make sense. The only card that I'm not that I'd love to see in here is Wild Pyromancer. I think especially against a lot of those aggressive decks. We didn't play against Zulok, but I'd like to get a couple of games against Zulok in just to try and see how good it would be. You know, it gives us another thing to pair with Equality, gives us just another board clear that we can pair with, like, you know, these Christologies, these Holy Lights. We do have some cheap spells in here to go with it, as well as, you know, coins and things like that. So I'd definitely like to get a take on that. But other than that, if you're watching the video on YouTube, all the links are down in the description, including a link over to the Hearthstone deck article. Jump over there, give Heeljin a lovely +1, leave a lovely thoughtful comment, check out their video. They've got 2 videos up there. They've got a video titled 100% win rate ranks 10 to, I don't know, something. So if you want to see someone probably 10 times better at playing this deck than myself play the deck, go for it. Jump over there. If not, you can catch me on Twitter at Tommy_wave. And until next time, stay safe, stay wavy. 2 giants, baby! I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.